and welcome back to 24 Minutes of A24, the podcast that takes a look at the A24 library 24 minutes at a time. I am Ethan Simi.
And I'm Ben Lawhorn. This week on the pod, we're taking the highway to hell, and we're trying to save the unsavable as we discuss A24's animated show, Hazbin Hotel.
In an attempt to find a non-violent alternative for reducing hell's overpopulation, the daughter of Lucifer opens a rehabilitation hotel that offers a group of misfit demons a chance at redemption. This is interesting because we just, right before we recorded, we were like, I just feel like it's another week where we're just like, this is new for A24. Like, what do we do? I don't know.
Different. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've covered TV shows before, but this one, it doesn't have like the weight of Euphoria or something like that. And
sure. So you're saying Hazbin Hotel does not equal Euphoria. That's a fair assessment, I feel like.
Yeah, that's my review. Throw it on a poster. You know, it's not
this
Euphoria.
Is not Euphoria. That's fair.
Go.
That's fair. Yeah, it's interesting. We're gonna get into the show. 8 episodes. They're all streaming on Amazon Prime right now. You can watch them in their entirety. Every episode is like 22 minutes long. It's incredible. It's fantastic. To be quite honest with you, it is dynamite. I busted out this entire season in a day. I was locked in. So I don't know if that's a precursor to maybe how I feel about this or anything like that. Take it for what you will. Of course, we have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. For A24, just a couple of things. I want to talk about Civil War one more time. It feels like Civil War is never going away, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it at all. I saw someone on Twitter, they're working on like a 6-part behind the scenes series for the Blu-ray that comes out in July.
No way.
And it's like,
are you serious?
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's the first time hearing about this.
Yeah, I guess it's someone that like that's what they do is they do those behind the scenes featurettes and stuff. And he was finally able to announce that that's the next one he's working on. It's gonna be a 6-parter. Like hell yes.
Wow, that's incredibly awesome. That's incredibly sick. So, Civil War has become the second A24 film to earn over $100 million worldwide. Just a couple of days ago, passes the mark. Obviously, A24's most expensive movie, rumored to cost around $50 million with marketing expenses. So to see it be successful is good. I feel like this is very good. Not only for A24, I feel like it's good for the box office. It's good for movies. It's good for the state of cinema. Do you know what the first movie to earn over $100 million worldwide was for A24?
I don't, but I'm gonna guess it was like the Oscar buzz of Everything Everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the case. And I wrote this question down in the notes, and you would have thought that I would have the answer, but I don't. So I just searched it. It is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay. $111 million at the worldwide box office. Civil War in second, and then Talk to Me at 92 million worldwide. So Talk to Me came pretty close. Came pretty close. I think I don't know what this means, if anything, for Academy Awards season in like 8 months. Is there anything there? Because Everything Everywhere All at Once, only other movie to cross 100 million, kind of a big deal at the Oscars.
I mean, I hope so. Like, I mean, there's some strong performances in there, but I remember one thing that we talked about for sure is the sound design has to get
it's gotta
nominated.
be.
Like, there's a lot of below the line stuff. I think it's going to happen, and I'm just happy even for Alex Garland. You know what I mean? Like, Men. You know, obviously, like I think we liked it better than we thought we did the first time. Yeah. But still the lowest out of all of his movies. So it's cool to see him bounce back like this. Though? What's lower than Men?
I don't know. Annihilation, not that good. I got to be honest with you.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
The more that I think about it, I'm like, pretty sure Men's a better movie.
Oh, I mean, you are a known person who hates women, so it makes sense that you don't like Annihilation.
It's true. Yeah.
The movie says Men in the title. You're like, well, obviously that's the best one because that's about men. So yeah,
it's got to be number one. Yeah. Men rule the world. No question about it. It does feel very Zone of Interest to me in terms of like the sound design. Obviously, very big distinctions there. Zone of Interest. Also a war movie, quote unquote, if you like want to put that in the same wheelhouse. But Zone of Interest, I would say much higher scale artistry wise and much more important in that fashion. And also came out very late in the year. This very early in the year has the Garland like weirdo buzz behind it. So I don't know what that looks like, but I think it's good in general for this to pass 100 million at the box office. Friday the 13th, the prequel series. We're having some problems. This is no good. We, as if I'm part of the production crew, but from what I hear,
a big family, yeah,
we're all suffering the consequences of these problems. Apparently, the prequel series that is owned by A24, we talked about this a couple of months ago. There's a big bidding war for streamers and distributors and production companies to get in on Friday the 13th. Now that it was like kind of available IP, and do a reboot, do a series, do whatever they wanted to. A24 snatched it up. They have a show called Crystal Lake that has reportedly stopped development. The creator of this show and the creator of Hannibal, Brian Fuller, he confirmed the rumor. He said, for reasons beyond our control, A24 has elected to go in a different way with the material. What does that mean?
I don't know, man. That's fucking crazy, because I think they would put it in the hands of someone that they trust. And so to hear that they're now going in a different route is kind of interesting. I'm also coming off of listening to the Star Wars movie draft episode, and it does make me think of Solo, how Lord and Miller, basically did that entire movie, and then like at the end they split ways, and then Ron Howard came in and redid it. So I don't know. Are we getting the Lord and Miller version, or are we getting the Ron Howard version of Crystal Lake? I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but do we even know the stories about? Is it like a prequel to Friday the 13th? We don't know anything, right?
I don't think we know very much. Yeah. I think from what we do know / like what I think I know, I think it is a prequel. It sounds like it is in that vein. Yeah. But I was literally just going to say, like, I have nothing insightful to add to this conversation because I've never seen a Friday the 13th movie. I don't know what's going on in that world. So like, I just have zero clue what any of this means.
I mean, probably my least favorite franchise in the Halloween season. So I'm like, I don't have a whole lot to offer either. It's like, it's fine, but it's not like, give me Nightmare on Elm Street or give me Halloween. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Curious to see where this heads.
Yeah. I am interested. You mentioned the Star Wars Collaborative Draft for the Movie Draft podcast. What'd you think? Can I get your take? Because I had to be the watcher of that and kind of rein people in. And in my opinion, there were mistakes that were made that I couldn't fix.
Finished it. I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, you haven't finished it?
Yeah, I think I'm at like pick number 4 or something like that.
Okay.
Which was kind of nuts. So I did enjoy listening to you as the watcher, because I know there were moments where you could not help but get your opinion out there, even though you wanted to be objective. You're like, well, actually, hold on.
There were so many times where I was just like, listen, if I was a part of this draft, you would have been vetoed. You would have been done.
For sure.
So it's too bad. Being the watcher's tough. But yeah, go check out the Star Wars Collaborative Draft on the Movie Draft podcast. Good time. Last piece of housekeeping. Steven Spielberg coming to A24? Question mark, exclamation mark. Quote, like in quotes, parentheses. Steven Spielberg is apparently developing an adaptation of James McBride's The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store novel for A24. Now, rumors are still flying around, but the insiders say that Stevie Boy is only going to be producing. So that would mean that Amblin Entertainment, not Steven Spielberg proper, not the director, Steven Spielberg, will be attached to this project. So really, it'll just be him, probably as an executive producer with his production company, Amblin Entertainment, having their hands in this. I guess A24 had no comment. What do you take that as when if a studio or production company like A24, if something like this comes out and they're like, no comment, is that good or bad?
I mean, I'm trying to look at it optimistically. Like maybe they are trying to get him in the director's chair, and so they don't have. So that's why they don't want to comment yet.
I see.
They don't want to say he's only going to be a producer and lock it in. Maybe they're still negotiating that. If he likes the project enough, maybe he will direct. But maybe it is like a Scorsese Uncut Gems thing, where he's like, he's just going to produce it, but putting his name behind a project could be
cool.
huge. Yeah,
so fucking cool that Scorsese produced Uncut Gems. It's incredible to me.
Yeah,
Steven Spielberg getting up there in years. Speaking of Scorsese, we're losing. I think we're losing valuable daylight.
Yeah.
This is a hard question, but I feel like it's a necessary / real question. Is a project for A24. I don't know anything about this book. Apparently, it tells the story of Black and Jewish residents of the Chicken Hill neighborhood of Pottstown, Pennsylvania in the 1920s and 30s. Apparently, it's very widely acclaimed, was on Barack Obama's list of favorite books of 2023, was one of the best books of 2023 by NPR. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Is Steven Spielberg's time worth a project like this when we know he could be out there making Fablemans or West Side Story?
Ready Player 2.
Ready Player 2. Look, that comes from a guy who's very pro. We're both very pro Ready Player 1.
Yeah, for sure.
So is this where he needs to be? That's my question, because I'm just a little dicey on that.
I would like to see him in something like this. I think he did a great job with West Side Story. And I think some of these like period pieces is an area where he thrives. So, and hopefully it's not like, again, like we both like Ready Player 1, but it doesn't need to be mocap. It doesn't need to be like, let's just have a genuine, sincere story. I think it could be great. I don't know. I'm curious to see who he would like put in the director's chair if he is just doing the executive producer role. Like he's got to probably have a say in it, I would imagine.
I would imagine he does. I mean, he's an executive producer on /producer on 41 projects coming up. Let's just that's what his IMDb says right now, with one of those being Gremlins 3. So I don't know.
Check.
It's exactly. It sounds to me like Spielberg is just, spreading his wings a little bit, and he's like, this is where I'm at. I just want to live a little, make a little art, join a little A24 family. These are the things that I find delight in. And that's okay. Yeah. If that's the case, I want to know, when are we getting The Terminal 2? In the Terminal again. That's the movie that I want. Bring it back. Bring me back to the airport.
Terminal 2, Tokyo Drift. Let's get to. I'm sure Hanks will do it. He's doing a lot of weird shit. I'm sure he
100%. Hey, talk about getting the check. Hanks is getting the check right now. That guy, he just wants the money. He wants the Apple money, really. So if we could just make that happen, I feel like he'd be locked into Terminal 2.
For sure.
We need another T2 movie title. That's how we do it.
Another T2.
T2.
What's the better T2 sequel?
Exactly. That way in 10 years, we can be like, which T2 are you talking about? Because they're both incredible sequels. That's what I want.
Nice.
Okay, that's all the housekeeping that I had. Do you have any other A24 housekeeping or things to mention?
Happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh my
From when
God.
this releases.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say.
It's not actually tomorrow,
you
but
were
like
close.
when this releases. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew what I was doing.
This will release on Friday, May 10th. My birthday is Friday, May 11th.
Saturday, May 11th,
yeah. Saturday, May 11th. I'm turning 30, so I'm choosing not to know what day my birthday actually falls on, because I think it's done, and I think this might be the last episode of the pod ever, because I don't know if I'll produce anything worthwhile after this.
I feel like you think you're turning as old as Steven Spielberg. Like
yeah.
this next birthday.
It's actually
you're like,
true. It's
I
actually
don't know.
true. Yeah.
Is there time left? Like, what am I going to do with my time? Is this worth it? Maybe not. Let's see.
I just need to make sure I'm putting myself in the right projects, because time is dwindling.
It's true. Well, I'm honored that you're still choosing to do this for now. So
right, not to put myself on the level, but I do feel like it's like Scorsese, Spielberg, Simi. The three
S's. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah,
that is where we're at.
Lock it
we
in.
need to make sure our greatest artists are spending their time with worthwhile projects. And this is one of them. So I'm proud to be here. I'm happy to be here, even though this might be the very last podcast ever. As a birthday gift to myself, I did purchase the 4K collector's edition of Stop Making Sense today, because nice. I saw that they started shipping it day of recording that we're recording now, Wednesday the 8th. And I was like, well, I've got to have that. So I feel really good about that.
I can't wait. I'm so excited for it to show up. I pre-ordered it, back in February, along with the shirt, and I'm still waiting on that shirt because they said they're not going to ship them until they can ship them together. So I'm waiting on that as well. So I cannot wait for this to show up. It's just going to be on repeat.
Yeah, all the time, just blaring in the house 24/7. Cool. Okay, let's talk about Hazbin Hotel. I think we're gonna do our conversation a little different today. A little bit different. Now, this is episode 146 of the podcast. So we've switched the way we do things once here on the show. Pretty big permanent switch. We changed our rating systems. We changed like the structure of the show. We're not doing that now, but I feel like this conversation for a show like this that has 8 episodes that are all 22 minutes long might work better in an open forum. And you know, less so in a true cinema style where we go bullet by bullet and talk about it that way. So I think we should just talk about Hazbin Hotel and maybe like things about it and see what happens.
I'm all on board with it. I'm excited to talk about this show. Okay.
I'm excited to talk about it as well. Like I said, streaming on Amazon Prime. A little bit of background on Hazbin Hotel. So like we said, in an attempt to find a non-violent alternative to reducing hell's overpopulation, the daughter of Lucifer, whose name is Charlie, she opens a rehabilitation hotel that is known as Hazbin Hotel, offers a group of misfit demons a chance at redemption. This is a weird show that is oddly entertaining, I feel like. And it originally had a pilot episode on YouTube back in 2019. Had one episode, is created by Vivian Madrano. And after that single pilot episode, A24 picked it up. Took nearly 5 years to animate, create, get Hazbin Hotel 8 episodes, and get a full season of the show put on Amazon Prime. And it's kind of had a lot of success. I feel like this is like a really big cult success show for A24.
Yeah, for sure. And this is also just a little more backstory on it. And I want to shout out my coworker, Elma, who like put me onto all this information, but I guess it's also based off of a YouTube series that, Vivian had done, and it's called Hell of a Boss. So there's some crossover characters, but it's kind of the same idea, but then they made the official pilot for Hazbin Hotel, which then got turned into this. So, kind of cool to see people's success come from YouTube and get turned into, you know, these big projects and stuff like that. So, just want to shout out Elma and Hell of a Boss. I've heard great things about it. So, I really enjoyed this a lot. Like I didn't know what to expect, and I really liked what we got. I think there were times where I was just like, I don't know that like I'm not a prude or anything like that, but I was like, I don't know that like we need to swear this much. Like, do it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I'm just like, man, it doesn't necessarily feel like super necessary for all of this. I'm not opposed to some of it, but it's like, all right, I got it. But I love the songs. Like I like the storyline of it all. It didn't necessarily go as I was expecting it to when I heard what the pitch of the show was, but I liked what we got.
Yeah, I share a similar sentiment. I like what we got. I don't think it's like earth shattering, and like I'm not gonna like next week I'm not gonna be like, oh, I want to check out that one episode of Hazbin Hotel again. Like I'm not on that level, but I was entertained. And a question that I want to ask you that I'm trying to think of myself. So a second season is confirmed. They're looking at 18 months to 2 years down the line for getting the second season up and going and on Amazon Prime. If you didn't have to watch it for this podcast, would you visit the second season of Hazbin Hotel on your own?
I think I would actually, surprisingly, because I wouldn't have visited this show if it wasn't for the pod. You know, I wouldn't have thrown this season 1 on, but after watching it, it's such an easy watch that I think I would throw it on. You know what I mean?
That's a really good way to put it. That's a really good way. I think that's part of the reason that I'm so interested in this show, or that I do think it is so entertaining, is because it is such an easy watch. Like every episode has 1 or 2 musical numbers in it. It's got really cool animation that features demons in hell. And it's very adult. People swear a lot. There's a lot of sex things, a lot of drinking, a lot of blood, a lot of violence. And I do, in the midst of watching shows like The Sympathizer and Fallout and, you know, all kinds of movies, this is a very nice, energetic switch up. And I think you identified why I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's all super solid. I think when I threw it on, it was just like, okay, this is fun. This is easy. It's like easy to follow along with. The storyline isn't too convoluted or anything like that. And being a 22-minute runtime, I know the sitcoms exist and stuff like that, but it feels like, especially for this pod, we don't get a lot of that. We don't get a lot of 22-minute things to watch. So it was just so nice. I'm like, oh, cool. Like I can just watch one of these on my lunch break. This is fantastic. Like this is a great thing to just throw on and enjoy. So, and having actual like Broadway talent on the show, like all the singing is amazing. The songs were, I think a lot of them were just like hilarious, like the lyrics and all that kind of stuff they had going on. I thought it was just like, it was so well done. I love some of the cast that we had, like, just a shout out. The main Charlie is played by Erica Henningsen, who I'm unfamiliar with, but I think she's a Broadway person. But Vaggie is played by Stephanie Beatrice, who was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's awesome. And then I have to shout out Keith David, from They Live and The Thing and Armageddon. He's great. I love Keith David. So they got a solid cast, and then like obviously plus like so many other people. And I really like everyone's names too. Like they're pretty hilarious.
Yes. I think this is a great opportunity for us to talk about the characters a little bit. So you mentioned Stephanie Beatrice, who is also from Encanto, pretty famously, I believe. And so she plays Mirabel in Encanto. We've got Charlie Morningstar, who is the daughter of Lucifer, who is running the Hazbin Hotel. Now she is like, she's the main character. She is like the reason that this show exists, essentially. Her girlfriend is Vaggie, who is played by Stephanie Beatrice. A1 name, by the way, for like a demon in hell that, and we're doing full spoilers for Hazbin Hotel. I genuinely, I don't feel like spoilers really hinder the enjoyment of the show like whatsoever, because it is so encapsulated and so small. But she was an angel in heaven that was part of the extermination and refused to exterminate a demon child, and thus other angels slit her eye and cast her into hell, which I think is a wonderful backstory. And of note, I wish we got more backstories like that for more of our demons, for more of the ragtag crew that we had. I think that for me, that would have been a little bit more interesting on an episode by episode basis, to be like, oh, cool. This episode we learn about Vaggie's past. This episode we learn about Angel Dust's past, because like we do spend an episode kind of doing that. This episode we learn about Husk's past. Like I would have enjoyed that. I think that would have really, really kind of well rounded out our group. Yeah. But nonetheless, we have a character named Angel Dust who is a porn star that has 4 arms and is a demon. That's where this show is. Let's just put that out there.
Angel Dust feels pretty androgynous as well.
Yes, it feels like it.
I can't tell, not that it matters, but I'm just like, I don't know. And I think that's great that they did that with a lot of their characters. I think my favorite was Nifty. She was hilarious, like just the whole time. She's so funny.
What is the deal with Nifty? Like, is she's just like a little freako? Like
she just likes
she likes to clean. She cleans the hotel. Yeah. She's this really tiny ball of energy demon who makes a very clear point that she likes to kill children bugs and make the mother bugs watch.
Yeah,
it is incredibly fucked up.
It's so funny. There's the trust fall episode where no one catches her and she just like keeps doing it over and over, like, hey, pain, like she's fantastic. I really like Nifty quite a bit. Vaggie, I mean, it's funny, I think towards the end of the show, I forget who it was Adam or something, like, I created you and I named you after the best thing ever. That's why your name's Vaggie. She's like, no, it's Vaggie. Like, it's just kind of funny. Like, there really is no line with what the show would talk about or like kind of show or do, which I thought was great. Like I said, I don't know. I feel it felt forced sometimes, like some of the content, but I was just like, whatever. That's what they're going for. I think it wasn't what I expected, in the sense that when I heard what the idea was, like the theme of the show, I thought maybe like each episode, and they kind of do this, but I thought every episode, like we'd get a new person coming to the hotel. Like we would spend the episode,
sure, okay,
like
that
kind
would
of
have been cool.
reforming them. Like let's find out how to reform this person, and then at the end of the episode, they're there.
Like
at the
each
hotel.
person would have a different troubled past, and they have to figure out
it's like
how to work with
get
that.
the crew together, but like one episode at a time. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen, and in a way, they kind of do that.
Not really though.
But I thought it was going to be more direct. Of like you're checking in. Here we go. We're gonna we're gonna rehabilitate you. But it felt like we're at episode 7, and the problem is still like, how are we getting people to the hotel? It's like, damn, you guys, it's been 7 episodes. We're still trying to figure out how to get people here. Like, they kind of caught me off guard. Like, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But then, by episode 8, it's like, well, how about just the people that have been working at the hotel are the team now? It's like, oh, okay. Like, so they got to where I thought we were getting. They just did it in a different way. But I'm hopeful. I would like to see, some actual like rehab that like we got a taste of it, but it would be fun to see someone actually get completely turned around.
We did get a little bit of a taste of it. There's a character named Serpentius who is a snake who comes to the hotel and is really the only guest that's like an outsider that ends up becoming one of the crew. But I'm with you. Like I think that this show is ultimately entertaining / enjoyable / like easy to watch. I have some pretty big like fundamental and structural like narrative issues. Like I it seems like, and you said this, like by the time we get to episode 7, I still feel like we're lost a little bit. Like I don't know if they quite landed on like, are we spending any episodes trying to get characters into the hotel to rehab them because hell is overpopulated and like we want to help them get to heaven and they're redeemable, or are we spending the 8 episodes, like the season, with our ragtag group of like already weirdo misfit hellraisers who are operating the hotel? Like it seems like we're in this middle ground, and the middle ground gets a little tiring because I just wish we would have gone one way or the other. Yeah. There was also some other characters. So Husk is kind of part of this crew that we get that you mentioned, voiced by Keith David, which I thought was really, really good. One of the better characters for sure.
For sure.
Plays the bartender, which is really well done. And then we get Alistair. And I think Alistair, a very key component, is this overlord that helps set up the hotel. That essentially helps Charlie create the hotel, is super powered. We learn a little bit about Alistair's history, which, again, like I liked that. I thought that was cool. We learned that Alistair really was a radio demon, and he killed a bunch of overlords so that radio could reign supreme, which I think is a hilarious storyline. So because there's another demon named Mr. Vox, who is just like essentially like a television head guy that runs a corporation called Vox, and they hypnotize people with their media, with their entertainment, whatever that they have, but they have to have people see it. So radio is really the ultimate arch nemesis. I liked their little like kind of thing they had going on, but again, like I ultimately felt like the show was spread way too thin, because the main goal is getting people to the hotel, redeeming them, getting them to heaven, and getting them out of hell, so as to avoid the extermination that comes from heaven. Because every year they do one extermination where basically angels come from heaven and they just kill people and save the overpopulation problem. And the show opens up with the first episode basically saying that this guy named Adam Dickmaster is an angel in heaven, and he meets Charlie, and he's in charge of the extermination, and he basically says like, hey, we're going to come quicker and quicker every time. We're going to come in 6 months instead of a year. And so Charlie enters a little bit of a spiral, and that's kind of where we kick things off. I thought Adam was really, really funny. I'm really disappointed that we only got like 2 episodes. Episode 1 and 8 is basically all we got of Adam, which was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that was a really good character. I enjoyed him quite a bit. And then like getting his kind of backstory, and then like, a little bit of his backstory, but the fact that he's an angel is kind of hilarious because he's kind of awful.
He's the most vulgar character in the show. Every single time he opens his mouth, he says fuck, like every single time.
But he's only in heaven because he was like the first person there, and it's like they can't. He's like he's
grandfathered into heaven, yeah.
Right, yeah. It's like he's not a good person, but they just kind of have to keep him there. Yeah, I thought his character was really interesting. I love Alistair. I love the actual radio voice that they gave him.
I was going to ask you how you felt about that voice, because every time he speaks, it is a 1950s radio.
Yeah. I thought it worked really well. I think it was a funny thing for his character. So for me, it totally worked. And even, I think it's like the second episode, maybe the third, but it was called like Radio Killed the Video Star or something like that, you know, like a play on that song. So I enjoyed Alistair. I thought he was great.
Yeah, I liked Alistair as well. I think it takes a little bit to get used to his voice, but I think it's a really nice like mix up from the rest of the cast. One other thing I wanted to say about Adam Dickmaster. So episode 8, I think, is worth sticking a pin in for a quick second and coming back to it, because it's kind of the ultimate, you know, the ultimate episode where we kind of get this extermination showdown. But in that episode, we get like an Alistair versus Adam kind of battle, and Adam basically comes down to hell, and the first thing he says is "Extermination Day is here, bitches," and I thought that was the funniest joke in the whole series. I think it felt so natural. It felt so good for that character. And I just think the hilarious nature of this angel coming to heaven and just like being so thrilled to be a demon where he can, I think is really, really funny. Where are you at on hell? How are you feeling about that?
Big fan, you know, I'm super into it.
Yeah, very pro. Okay.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
You've got your tickets, right? Your books, you've got a room?
First class ticket. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's a weird thing to get into. I'm not much of a religious person at all, but if there is anything after this, I hope at least I am not ending up where these people are ending up.
Oh, that's interesting, because I was gonna say, similar vein, not religious, if there is somewhere after this, I low key hope that like Hazbin Hotel is in hell, because then like we can like sing, and like we can like go, you know, we could go to like the BDSM club, and then we can go get shit faced, and then we can like kill people. I don't know.
That's true.
Have a good time. You know what I mean?
It does look like a lot of fun. Like heaven looks pretty sterile, to say the least. So yeah, hell does look like a good time.
I think the only time we go into heaven is when we're in a courtroom in like episode 7. That does not look like fun. No. And I would much rather go with Angel to the club and just go ham. And that sounds more like my speed. Of course, this is animated, and this is an adult tilted animation show. Mm-hmm. Not new. Those have been around for a long time. Obviously, South Park, The Simpsons, things like this. I never was like into these. I don't watch South Park. I don't watch The Simpsons. I don't watch Family Guy. Like none of that stuff. My parents thought that if I did watch that, I would go to hell. So maybe I'm going to hell now because I've seen Hazbin Hotel. And I feel like that's okay. I'm happy with that decision.
Yeah.
Did you grow up on these shows? Do you watch any of these shows? I know you are a big South Park. What is it called? Bigger, longer. It's a movie. Uncut. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the South Park movie and the show. Of all people, my dad is the one that put me on to South Park. So yeah, I remember watching that like from the first season. South Park is fantastic in my opinion. I enjoy a lot of the shows that we mentioned and some that we'll talk about. I think the adult humor behind it is really kind of funny, and you know, it's kind of like Guillermo del Toro talks about, like animation is just like, it's a medium, it's not a genre kind of thing. So you can tell some fun stories with it, and I think they did a really good job in Hazbin Hotel. Like the animation is beautiful. Yeah,
I agree. I think the animation is really, really nice. Yeah, I don't know, it's just nothing that I really got into, and I feel like I missed my chance. Like I said, I turned 30 in a couple days, and I don't feel like that's appropriate to be like picking up a new show at this time.
That's what your 30 should be, is stand-up comedy and adult animation. That's what you got to get into.
That's all that I watch.
The stuff you missed out on. Yeah.
Yeah. Ethan, what are you watching tonight? Oh, just another stand-up special, actually. Yeah. My 69th night in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's an entertaining show. Anything to say about any of the characters? We didn't talk about Lucifer yet. We get introduced to Lucifer in episode 5, who of course is Charlie's dad. And the very first time we get introduced to Lucifer is when Charlie is calling him, and we see him do a little rehearsal of like, what's he going to say? Because they kind of don't really talk because, Charlie's trying to distance herself from like the powers of Lucifer and the fact that like Lucifer runs hell and like she is, kind of indebted a little bit to him, obviously. And he picks up the phone and I believe he says, "What's up, bitch?" And that was completely unhinged. I still don't know if it was funny, but it was unhinged.
I thought it was hilarious because he's just like prepping. It's like, "Hello, how are you? It's so good to hear from you. Like, what's new?" All this kind of stuff. And then when he just picks up, he just panics. Like, "What's up, bitch?" Like, yeah, I guess that's what you could say to your daughter if you wanted, as she calls you. Lucifer, again, like a lot of things, not what I expected. I think not the traditional format that we see Lucifer presented in, which is like kind of this big, overpowering being, all powerful kind of thing. And
he's shorter than Charlie. He's a tiny guy.
Shorter than Charlie's, almost skinnier. He's just like he's a tiny dude and look like they're the same age basically. So
yeah, pretty much.
It wasn't what I was expecting, but I guess in theory, like you don't necessarily keep aging once you're in hell. So it's like, I guess he could just be like 30 forever. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So you're implying that this is it. This has been my time on Earth, and then I'll just stay 30 in hell forever.
I mean, maybe.
It's been a good run.
I have no idea. I guess get back to me. Let me know what they say. Yeah.
I have not thought of aging in hell, which I guess Hazbin Hotel probably accurate on that front of like we don't age. That would make sense. It seems like hell's been around for a long time, so I feel like Lucifer would look old. He looks pretty spry. He looks, he's out there. He's on the battlefield. He's cracking jokes left and right. I did like Lucifer. I thought it was funny when Charlie introduces him to Vaggie, her girlfriend, and he was like a little bit shocked, and then like was really receptive to it and weird again, like really awkward about it, which I thought was quite funny. I think Vaggie grew on me the most, like as a character.
Okay.
Initially, I was like, I don't know if I like her energy. Like she is kind of a downtrodden, like just a downer kind of a person. And then I think getting her backstory was really, really helpful. And then by the time we get to episode 7 and 8, she's pretty incremental in like Charlie believing in herself and like believing that she can help people in hell. By the end of the show, there's only one person that gets redeemed. And I believe this is Serpentious.
Yeah.
He winds up in heaven and he is redeemed. Do you think he was worthy of redemption? Do you think any of these other characters are worthy of redemption going and deserve to go to heaven?
I mean, I felt like Angel showed, enough to be redeemed.
I agree.
But it was interesting too in the courtroom scene where they're just like, no one could answer what it takes to get to heaven. Like no one knew why they were there or anything like that. So it's like, I don't know what does allow you to get to heaven. I guess we don't know. Maybe they'll address that in season 2.
Maybe. Yeah. I liked that. I thought it was good. I thought the ambiguity was quite funny. I think I'm in the same vein as you. I think Angel and Husk, they have an episode together, episode 4. And this is the most sexually explicit episode. Basically, we're with Angel when they are filming a porn scene. And I think it's worth mentioning too, there's this kind of undercurrent of the overlords have these demons sign contracts and occasionally will like make a chain appear around their neck to remind them like they own them. Yeah. And so this is how Angel has gotten in this porn situation, and filming scenes is because they are monitored by this overlord and they have to do that. And that's like part of their contract. So Angel's basically trying to drink themselves, not to death, but just like, because like I don't think you can die because you're already in hell. But basically as close as you can get to forget. And Husk tries to tap into that a little bit and get past the facade of Angel. And I thought their relationship was the most like meaningful, the most emotional. Like I thought it was the best executed kind of duo in the whole show.
Yeah, they had a good arc together, in learning about each other. You know, when Husk tries to protect Angel, when the drink gets spiked and all that kind of stuff. Like they had their relationship was good.
Yeah.
Vaggie and Charlie were interesting. Like we saw a little bit of development with them, but some of it didn't play out. Like again, it's just like she's an angel. It's like, all right, she got over that really quick. You know,
Yeah,
like I guess
she moved on very fast.
It felt like it was led up to be a bigger deal than it ended up being. But yeah, I think some of these relationships worked out really well.
There is a place that they go to Cannibal Town in one of these episodes. Would you think you could reside in Cannibal Town? Could you make it?
Dude, absolutely not. I would be just like destroyed in a heartbeat. I loved Cannibal Town though. Just like when you oh, you look really skinny. Maybe you just want some pinkies to eat or whatever. You know, it's just like they're like very courteous and polite, but they're just like literally offering you like body parts. I enjoyed Cannibal Town though a lot.
What other towns do you think there are? Like, I think that's something that we should explore in season 2. I think we should adventure around hell a little bit.
Yeah.
And following what you said at the top of the episode, like, I think season 2 would be best outfitted for like, let's go to, you know, let's say we have 8 episodes. Let's go to 5 new places, new towns like Cannibal Town.
Yeah.
And every town we go to, we got to redeem somebody, or we got to bring them back to Hazbin Hotel and they kind of join our crew. Do we get a little road trip action going on? What other towns do you think exist? Because there's got to be other things.
Well, I'm just trying to think of like, what are the worst things you can do? Because like being a cannibal would be weird.
Cannibal, yeah, it's pretty up there.
It feels weird to like say the words pedophile town. Like, is that a thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That I don't know. That just sounds really wrong, but it's like
too soon to say that Drake's the mayor, or how are we feeling about that?
I mean, you know, that's what Kendrick would say for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that song would be in A minor as well. So
yeah, that's a golden opportunity for Hazbin Hotel. Let's be honest. The entire song in A minor. That's unbelievable.
They just need to rush that one episode out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
They gotta go Euphoria style. They gotta have like a in between season filler.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they could also do stuff where it's like people are perceived as evil, almost like a lawyer town or something along those lines. Like we're just like, you know, the bad people that did like bad stuff on Earth, but they're not necessarily like murderers or anything like that. So I don't know. The options are endless.
Yeah, options are endless. I ask you because I do not have an answer for that question. I'm not a very imaginative person. I can't. That's like one of my flaws as a person, and probably why I end up in hell. I also can't like cast things. You know, there's things that go around all the time on Twitter where it's like, who would you have replaced this person with? Or like, who would you cast in this role today? No idea. I literally, my brain empties like a 50-foot cavern and I have zero idea what's going down.
I mean, I kind of fall in the same boat as you with that stuff because we recently went on one of our friends' podcasts, yet to be announced or released, so I won't say what it is. But one of the questions is like, who would I cast in a certain role? And I couldn't come up with a good answer. So I was just like, stumper. Yeah, it got me. And I was like, well, what's the last movie I saw that had someone that kind of was in that role? It's like, I guess I'll do that. Like the person was good. I meant it genuinely, but I was like, I can't sit here and think of all these other people. Like, I don't know. So I fall into that with you.
I think there's really only 3 options for this in any situation. If anybody's like, you got to recast this, or like who should be in this movie, I think it always needs to be Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor. I think those are like, you've got to put them in there. And then your only third option would be Bradley Cooper as Maestro. I think
was waiting for it. Yeah.
Only appropriate response, quite honestly. So I appreciate you that you prepped me for that question on an unknown project. Won't say yet. But it's coming. Yeah. And note this right now, because when I get asked that question, that will be my answer. Okay. I liked Hazbin Hotel. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was fun. Like I said, we're not going to go episode by episode. We kind of talked about the things. Yeah. I don't know if there's any other like major storylines that we need to cover. Should we talk maybe a little episode 7, episode 8? That way we can like kind of wrap the season with like how it wraps up.
Yeah, we can do that.
So episode 7, we get Camilla, who is
yeah.
who is an angel, but she's like very intense.
Yeah.
She teaches Vaggie how to fight angels, and essentially it is you just have to use their spears against them, which Vaggie points out is very lame, which in fact it is quite lame.
I like that meta commentary on it. It was great. It's like, oh, that's it? Okay.
Yeah. I do like that. I like that sequence. We get a song, obviously, for that. And then at the end of that sequence, Vaggie, like, kind of grows her wings again, which I thought was pretty cool. And then in the same episode, Charlie gets the cannibals from Cannibal Town to essentially agree to, like, help defend against the forthcoming extermination. And that was her goal, was to, like, how do we protect Hell? How do we protect the Hazbin Hotel from the extermination that's coming? Obviously leads to episode 8. We get a couple songs. And like I mentioned, Alistair versus Adam, which I thought was really funny. A really good, like an overlord battle kind of a situation. Alistair, pretty powerful guy, like puts the entirety of the Hazbin Hotel in a force field.
Yeah.
I want to know more about Alistair, and I think episode 8 does a really good job of keeping his storyline open-ended, and I think that'll be a very key narrative in season 2. I don't know how he's so powerful. Like, he's just hanging around Hell? Like, is that his thing? He's just been there for a long time?
Yeah, that's what it seems like, you know. And what does he say at the end? He's like, this isn't the end of me. It's just the end of this broadcast or something along those lines as he disappears. Like,
great radio pun.
Yeah. So he's, I don't know, floating around somewhere, but yeah, it was great to see his powers. Like, it would have been nice to know that he had these kind of abilities.
Yeah. Pretty powerful guy. And then, we get a big finale. The hotel gets rebuilt. They kind of bring it all back together. And then we get this kind of like little coda at the end where basically somebody, I think it's Camilla in heaven, goes to a character named Lilith and is like, you got to go to Hell and you got to stop Charlie. And Lilith is Charlie's mom. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yes. She is incredibly attractive for an adult cartoon character. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of her in season 2.
Should that have been our A1 act? Is Ethan's attracted to cartoon characters?
Yeah, 100%. Hottest cartoon moms.
Hottest cartoon moms.
That should have been it.
We'll save that for season 2 when it comes back. Yeah.
Yes. We should put a pin in that. So I think there's a lot of things that are open ended. I liked episode 8. Very kind of action packed. A lot of stuff going down. Fun way to end the season. But overall, it felt like the season as a whole was kind of inconsequential. Like it just, I don't know. It just felt like, okay, that happened. And it just felt like we didn't really establish a lot for a lot of things. And I don't know, there's pros and cons to that, but I think ultimately like falls a little flat for me personally.
Yeah, I think that's where it comes back on it being the pro and con of it being an easy watch, where it's just like, I wasn't super invested in it, but it was easy to throw on and just like enjoy. So yeah, I don't know when I'm going to throw this back on other than to prep for when season 2 comes out, but I liked it for what it was. But it's like, I can't remember a song, you know what I mean? Like if you ask me, like, what's your favorite song? There's like, I don't remember. I remember enjoying them like in the episode, but like I couldn't go back to you and be like, this was my actual favorite song. So I think there's that element to it.
Yeah, I agree. I do actually have a favorite song. It's Loser Baby from episode 4 with Husk and Angel.
That is a good one, actually.
The one that
one.
ends with them wielding Tommy guns and killing a bunch of loan sharks, which I thought was quite funny.
Literal sharks, which is so great too.
Really funny. Definitely the best song by like a mile, in my opinion. Episode 4, my favorite episode. That's where Angel is like self-destructing. Angel, the porn dungeon catches on fire, and it's intense. It's a good episode. I like it. Yeah. That would be like my true cinema episode if we're gonna like go that route. Do you have a true cinema episode?
I want to say maybe it's number 3, but it's more a true cinema character that we haven't talked about, and it's those little fucking eggs, which were just hilarious to me. Like they were so funny. I just loved every time that they were on
boys.
Screen. The egg boys.
Their name is Egg Boys, BOIS.
Yeah, and there was like that was one of the funny moments. Is like one of them gets stuck in an elevator, the other 4 on the ground. Like, oh no, Frank's in the elevator, and the other one's just like, we have names. Like, you had no
Yeah, that was
idea.
funny.
Like, I enjoyed that. So they get my True Cinema award, just the eggs.
Just the Egg Boys. That's
Yeah.
exciting. I'm sure they'll love it. I'm sure they're big
Shout out
fans.
Egg Boys.
Shout out Egg Boys. Shout out Cherry Tomato Boys. Let's be honest here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, got him. Okay, A1 Act. We're doing adult cartoons, of course, because Hazbin Hotel is part of this world. We've got Harley Quinn. Hey, have you watched any episodes of Harley Quinn?
No, I have not seen Harley Quinn.
Okay, neither have I. I really want to. I hear it's really good, and I haven't watched it yet. South Park, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, BoJack Horseman, Family Guy, Futurama, Rick and Morty, American Dad, King of the Hill, Archer, The Simpsons, Big Mouth, Robot Chicken, F is for Family, The Venture Bros, Invincible, Daria, Inside Job, The Cleveland Show, The Boondocks, Smiling Friends, Bob's Burgers, Beavis and Butthead, Samurai Jack, and Arcane. That's the list that I've got here on the notes.
Dude, I love Beavis and Butthead so much growing up. That was such a fun show, man.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
I've never seen a single episode. Having said that, I'm very pro if Ryan Gosling could make a live action Beavis and Butthead television show.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Also, like, leading to one of the best spinoff shows, King of the Hill, came from Beavis and Butthead. So, yeah. But I have to go with South Park, just to rub it in your guys' face that I have known that it's been great this whole time. So, yeah, shout out South Park.
Yeah, famously, I've only really noted that the movie, it might be worth watching after Sean Fennessy noted it on the big picture, even though you did so 3 months prior on our show.
Yeah.
Wasn't good enough for me. I mean, look, I haven't seen most of these things. I'm going to go with Bob's Burgers because I love Bob's Burgers.
So good.
My wife has a Tina Belcher tattoo. So
Nice.
that's where we're at on Bob's Burgers, and I feel pretty good about it. It's not in the same vein as like Hazbin Hotel or South Park. I feel like it's kind of scaled down from that.
Yeah.
But I still very much like it. That's definitely my jam. A24 ranking. What would you give Hazbin Hotel? Another weird week where it's like, how do you rank it? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know either. Like, I think, again, like, I enjoyed it, but I don't know what I give Rami, like, a B24. Like, it kind of feels like the same thing, which is like, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I don't know when I'm going to go back to it. So yeah, it wasn't a C where it's just like, fine. Like, I had a good time. So I'm going to go with a B24.
Okay. For me, it was just fine. I'm going to go with a C24. I think there's a lot. I think there's things there. I just think like a little narratively murky, entertaining at parts, but ultimately kind of forgettable. And, just like not something that I would really be, I think there's a lot of other things where if someone's like, yo, I'm looking for a new TV show. Like Hazbin Hotel is just like not on the rec list for me. It's just like not up there.
That's fair.
I don't know. That's just where I'm at. Okay. Any closing thoughts on Hazbin Hotel?
No. I wish I had something creative to say, but I'm just like, I'm stumped. Again, I would recommend it. Again, it's an easy watch. It's like, what is it? 2.5 hours? Not even 3 hours.
Yeah. Not even 3 hours.
You could watch this entire series faster than you could watch Oppenheimer. So
okay. We don't need to be like shooting fucking strays out here at Oppenheimer. Let's relax.
I'm just spitting the truth. That's all I'm doing over here. It's just like
Good
saving
God.
people time. You could watch this entire series and then still have like 10 minutes to be glad you're not watching Oppenheimer.
You mean to be depressed, to be very sad that you're not watching Oppenheimer. Yeah, I don't have any closing thoughts on Hazbin Hotel. Check it out if it sounds interesting to you. Easy watch. I think it's a good way to spend the day or a weekend or something like that. Next week on the pod, I think we're doing Amy, Ben.
Cool.
I think we're switching it up. We were gonna do I Saw the TV Glow, and I was very hopeful that we would both get screenings before then. As of recording, it's still New York, LA exclusive. Making the rounds, feels very Everything Everywhere, where it's just like the word of mouth is just like absolutely killer. People are loving this movie, and it just hasn't come out yet. So it's not going to come to our cities in time for us to record an episode on the theoretical nationwide release weekend. We will cover I Saw the TV Glow the weekend after or the week after. We're going to get to it. It's
for sure
kind of one of A24's biggest movies of the year, I would say. So we'll get to it. But it's not going to be next week. So we figured we'll do Amy to coincide with another movie coming out called Back to Black, which I heard is abysmal. I heard it's very bad.
That's what I've heard as well. And that's why I wanted to cover the doc, because I actually I have seen it before. I saw it in theaters, actually. So I'm excited to revisit it. This is going to be good for sure.
A24, if you're listening, you got to get us screeners. You got to get us help us out. We're struggling over here. We're like every new release. We're like, is it going to be up? I don't know. We're going to get to it. Who knows? And then we got to have like all these back end things prepped.
And then like last minute, the Wednesday before, we're going to get release dates, and you guys aren't going to hear us talk about Amy, because all of a sudden it's going to be, well, okay, I guess we can't see it. So
bam,
who knows what we
again.
talk about? Yeah.
I know, I feel so bad for the listeners, because we're just like every week, we're just like, maybe this, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see. We need those screeners. I haven't seen Amy. I'm going into a blind. I know exceptionally little about Amy Winehouse, except for the fact that I know that I don't want to see Back to Black. So I feel good that we're going to cover something that's good.
I hope you end up with an Amy Winehouse tattoo by the end of this. I think that'd be fantastic. I hope you become
absolutely.
a fan.
I'll have an Amy Winehouse tattoo, and I'll be chain smoking with my Love Lies Bleeding merch.
Oh, I would love that so much. That'd be great. Well, let us know what you guys thought about Hazbin Hotel. Will you be tuning into season 2? We are on Twitter and Instagram at 24 minutes of A24. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube and hit the bell and do all that kind of stuff, so that you know when we're talking about things that we are able to see. So please. Thank you everyone for your support. We really appreciate it. I am Ben Lawhorn.
And I am Ethan Simi. Spring break forever, bitches.